Hello and welcome to another episode of The Wannabe Entrepreneur, the podcast about what's really like to bootstrap a company. Today I have another great interview for you. I have with me Luca Restagno. Restagno? How do you say? Luca Restagno.
Yeah, it's a really difficult pronunciation in Italy. It's Restagno.
Restagno?
Yes, perfect.
Luca Restagno. Oh,
Yes.
Okay, it was hard. Welcome, Luca. Thank you for joining us here, the Wannabe Entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Thiago. My pleasure being with you today.
Yeah, likewise. And the way I met Luca was surprise, on Twitter. And I was actually looking for a tool to automate my DMs because I realized that a lot of the way I was actually selling subscriptions for my virtual co-working space was through DMs. And I wanted to just automate this process. And every time someone would follow me, I would send an automatic message to them. And I think someone actually, I don't remember who, but someone recommended your tool. And then I found Luca, and here we are. So super excited to learn more about the journey building this tool, HiveOE, and a little bit to learn more a bit about you, Luca. So it's really a pleasure. And I would like to start by asking you to introduce yourself, tell a little bit more about your background, your entrepreneurial background to the wannabe entrepreneurs.
Yeah, sure. So let's say that my journey as an entrepreneur is really recent. So I started in 2019 with a side project, like many developers out there. So my background is this one. I'm a senior software developer. Let's say I always worked as an employee for companies, and I have 10 plus years of experience in this industry. But in 2019, in that period between 2018 2019, I really started my journey changing a bit my mind by reading content about economy, about personal freedom and being independent. And so something happened in my mind. So like a click, I switched mentality and I started thinking, okay, probably I can do something different. My salary is really not growing very fast. And my path towards the old ages is like this. So I'm dependent on an employer, on a salary, not really scaling fast. Probably I can do something different, right? So as every developer out there, I thought, let's build a product. Let's build something that can be turned into a business. And so with one of my colleagues at that time in 2019, a really strong, very good UX designer, I said, okay, let's find an idea. Let's find something. And we came up with an idea, and we started working on it. It turned then in a product. It's called eaterspace.com.
Okay.
You can find it already. It's on the market. It's publicly available. And we worked on that project for 2 years.
Wow.
As a side project. 2 years. So working during, the nights, the weekends, and so on. We learned really a lot on how to do not build the product, actually.
That's the role of the first product.
Absolutely.
Is to learn how not to build it.
Yes, correct. And then after 2 years of development, with basically no validation of the idea, basically we had this product almost ready to be used by the users. And so, you're looking for the big moment in which, storms of users are coming using your amazing product, which of course it didn't happen. And so we realized, okay, but we don't have any voice. No channel distribution channels. We don't have a presence on the social networks. Really
you
nothing.
don't have an audience. Yes,
you don't have an audience, exactly. And so I thought, okay, I have in the past, in 2015, 2016, I used a Twitter. I had a Twitter account that I used just to meet people around, and I said, okay, let's try to take it again. It was 2-3 years I was not using it, and let's try to do something there. And so at that point, it was February of last year, 2021, started my journey, my second journey on Twitter, actually. And I noticed, I found, it took some time, but I found many interesting users and people on Twitter that were content creators. One really inspirational one is Simon Hoiberg.
Okay.
Really popular. He posts content about web development, and then he started his own business, his own product.
Okay.
And so I thought, let's try to do the same, because I'm a developer. So if I need to publish content, probably needs to be in a domain that I know. And so I started doing the same, basically. At that time, I had 500 followers, absolutely not the right target, so not developers, but I started anyway. And
now you have more than 2,000.
Almost 2,000, right?
And I know it's really interesting, Twitter, actually, if you think about it, because I have the same experience. I had my first Twitter account, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or something. And now I'm back using Twitter in a completely different way. And I think it's the only social media where you actually come back to, right? If you think about Facebook, for instance, you used it, or I used it quite heavily, and now it stopped, and I'm not going back. And well, I think I'm not going back, maybe. And same with the other social media. But Twitter is so interesting with the fact that basically the product is kind of the same. Not a lot of things have changed. But people are just coming back. It's really, really an interesting phenomenon, isn't it?
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. I have to say that I've never been a fan of Facebook. I've never been really a Facebook user. Yeah, seriously. But Twitter has a special taste. I don't know. I really enjoy it. It's different.
Twitter people are super nice. Like, that's something that I realize, because. So if you compare, for instance, Twitter and Reddit, on Reddit, if you share your projects or share your successes, people give you shit. Sometimes they can really be super mean at you, and you really need a thick skin, otherwise you'll cry. But with Twitter, it's the opposite. Like, every time, my best posts are actually when I basically show off what I'm able to achieve. If I do, like, I just reach whatever 500 followers on Twitter, people will be like, yeah, congratulations, that's amazing, they really support you. Which, it feels that, like, the great people and the nice people of the world are on Twitter, and the mean ones are on Reddit. Do you feel the same? Are you also a Reddit user?
Yes, I'm not really a heavy Reddit user, but I totally agree about the feeling of Twitter community.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, the tech Twitter community it's really supportive, really positive, always, giving great feedbacks, also positive feedbacks. Yeah. So I totally agree with you from this point of view. Yes.
Yeah. And it's something that is really interesting here about your experience, which is not very common. So let's dig deep into this, and I really need to understand. So you told me that you were never an entrepreneur until 2018 or 2017. Mm-hmm. Is that really true? Like, if you think about it in the past, did you never had your side project? You never had some kind of, like, little business or business ideas? You never had any of this?
Well, actually, I had many ideas, to be honest, also in the past. When I was really, let's say, young, the university period, I was always doing side projects. So I had that mood, but not oriented towards the business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it all changed when you start thinking, okay, my salary will not increase that much more, and you want to try to do your things on your own to see if you could somehow be more financially independent. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. That's correct. And also about the flexibility. I mean, we know that the dream of every one of us entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs is to have time flexibility and don't be strict to allocation. So potentially you could work everywhere in the world with your
But I mean,
online business.
that's true. But if like you are working fully remotely, right, as well for your
Yes.
company.
Yes.
So I guess for us developers, we already have this. To be really honest, right, we already have a lot of flexibility on schedules, place where we work, and normally great salaries, right? Like, are you? Okay, let's start speaking about your first project and see, because you told me off record that then you were able, even though you told us that you didn't build it in the right way, you were able to sell it, right? So first of all, let us know, what do you consider not building it in the right way?
Later on, so after 2 years, we realized that first of all, we didn't have an audience, as we said, but also that
what is, sorry to interrupt, what is the product about actually?
Yes, the product is about it's let's say a small platform online where you can basically record your screen and record also your voice eventually during the recording. And during the recording, using a browser extension, you can put specific comments, textual comments, on a portion of the screen.
Okay. So it's like I use something similar called Loom.
Exactly, really similar to Loom. Yes, when you complete the recording, you get a shareable link, and you can share the link with, I don't know, someone, your teammates, and iterate on that recording. So the others can add additional comments or start threads and really work on that recording. Yes.
So Loom doesn't do this. Like, you can actually share it, I assume, for kind of feedback reasons, right? You want to give feedback on a landing page, for instance. You record it, you give your feedback, and others can like just support you and give you extra comments.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Exactly. I think that Loom is more oriented to the communication, while Etherspace is more oriented on, let's say, working together on a specific task, like a landing page, for instance.
Right.
So it's really beneficial in development teams where you have, also UI designers and the development team, and at a certain point you implement that UX, UI, and so on. And you want a feedback loop with the designer, right? So is this right? Is this working as expected, and so on? And so you can work all together on the topic and exchange feedback.
Right. How did this idea came to be? Like, who had the idea?
The idea went from Marco, my colleague at that time, because someone asked him to review a mobile app. Okay. And so he thought, okay, how can I do a review of a mobile app on my phone? Should I make Google Doc with screenshots? Yes, I can do it, but it's not really efficient also in the kind of communication I can do. So initially we thought about doing this, but for mobile. So we had a prototype actually with the mobile phone connected to your laptop through a cable, and I was recording the screen of the mobile phone. And then later on we switched them because the desktop browser started supporting the native recording. So we said, okay, I mean, for mobile it's cool, but probably also on your laptop, computer, it's fine as well. So we switched that at a certain point.
And you were saying that one of your mistakes was to build this without getting the feedback of, well, besides not having an audience, was also building this without the feedback of the user. So you just build this coming from your head and only shared with users once you had like a proper product ready?
Yes, almost like that. So basically we used what is called the product first approach, basically. So we started building the product, really coding like crazy and pushing new ideas. But
which technology did you use to code this?
Oh, it was in React and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other libraries. The infrastructure was totally on AWS using serverless, Lambda. So I need to say that technically speaking, I learned a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I am really happy for that.
Are you most a backend or front end developer in your job?
I'm stronger on the front end,
Okay.
but I can do both words. Yes.
Okay.
And yes, so with the product first approach, but also let me say that even if you don't want to use that approach, but you want to validate your idea before building too much, it's not that easy if you don't have an audience,
Mm-hmm.
basically, because who is gonna be your user? So we
Yeah.
talk to our friends,
True.
to our family and friends, of course, but you don't receive really valuable feedback. You need
True.
anyway a community as a reference. And
Mm-hmm.
so at that point, probably you can have a fast feedback loop
Right.
with your users.
And tell me about the relationship you had with your co-founder, because sometimes it doesn't work very well, and the motivation is not there. Especially, I guess both of you having doing this on the side and having a full-time job. Did that go well? Were you able to get along?
I have to say it went very, very well because we
That's
knew
cool.
already each other. We worked together for 1 year and a half almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we knew each other and also the personality of
Right.
of the two. And so we
Do you
we
have
never.
similar personalities?
Mm, I don't know. I don't know if it's really similar, but it's compatible. Let's say
Okay.
compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I have to say that we never had a discussion, a really serious discussion, let's say.
Really?
Only dialogue and exchange of opinions,
Mm-hmm.
but never a real strong discussion. So that is really, I mean, strange. Not so common, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
So you built the product, you launched it, and you're expecting, I guess, a lot of users immediately. Did
Yeah.
that go accordingly to what you were expecting?
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that's because later on, probably I realized by reading books and stuff that probably there are two kind of products, right? So there is the vitamin one and the painkiller. So the painkiller is that product that solves really big issues for someone, also a
Mm-hmm.
niche. Basically, it almost the product almost sells by itself, right?
Right.
Almost. The second one is the vitamin, and later on we realized that probably our product was a vitamin. And
Yeah.
so, in order to sell it and make it a business, we had to spend a lot of time in, probably marketing, reaching a big audience, and so on. And running a bootstrap product like this, I mean, a side project with two people with zero marketing knowledge and so on, it was impossible,
Mm-hmm.
or at least really, really difficult, in our opinion.
Yeah. So what happened? You didn't get the clients. You didn't get users. Uh,
Well, actually, what happened, it's really interesting because we did a launch on Product Hunt,
mm-hmm.
and of course, we didn't went to the top of the list that day. We
Mm-hmm.
received kind of 70 upvotes that,
Okay.
in our opinion, for not having an audience, no marketing at all, it was anyway a good result.
Yeah.
And actually, what happened is that one person, Italian person, by the way, and noticed the product and say, "Oh, this is very well done in the sense of the execution, right?"
Right. Right.
And so he was interested in knowing us, basically, as a team, how we came up with the idea and all the rest. And so he basically connected us with a startup working in the user testing industry, let's
Oh,
say.
okay. Okay.
And so there was a very good fit between our product and their business,
Okay.
actually. And so we ended up by selling the product. But we have been really, really lucky because, I mean, it could have been a project there, no more maintained, no recurrent revenues, nothing. We had been really lucky, to be
I mean,
honest.
it's not lucky, right? You build something good, and but of course, I guess you're lucky in the sense that if it was not for someone reaching out to you, you would have never thought on maybe selling it,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So this company, I guess, App Quality, is it?
Correct. That's the name.
So they acquired you. Tell me about this process. Like, it must be amazing because you're building a side project, and then suddenly someone tells you, "Okay, we want to acquire you," and then you think, "Okay, we have no users. How do you like price this? Like, how did you come up with the price?"
Yes. So we had a lot of discussions. I mean, with that company, basically because you start knowing each other, right? Because let's see the founders, the culture, who they are. Really, we started knowing each other, and there was this kind of interest in the platform, and we have different discussions. We started, I think, in May, and actually we sold it in September, October.
Okay.
So some months in the in the middle. And about the pricing.
But did you fully sell it, or did they also acquire you to work in the product?
That was one of the possible solutions, but we ended up by selling the code, the platform, and we are no more involved in the project. Yes.
Okay. What did they check? Did they like check the code quality? Did they do all of this?
Yeah, definitely. There was a period of due diligence where they look at the. I mean, I've shown everything, so the architecture, the code, and all the stuff. Also because that's a really delicate period because you only own your own code, right?
Yeah.
It's the asset you own. It's the only thing because you don't have users. Okay, you have a brand, but it's not that strong. So it's just the code. So in that period of time, I mean, we had to be really to protect ourselves also.
Yeah.
So of course, you need to involve a lawyer and have a kind of support because you are not ready to do something like that. And about the pricing, it's really difficult also that one because, as you said, there are no revenues. So what you can do is to perform an estimation of how much time and so money it will cost for that company to implement the same stuff.
Yeah.
So this is kind of
which makes sense, right? Like, how much time did it take you to build this app?
It was around 2 years as a side project. So
a developer would take, or two developers, I guess, would take maybe 6 months to develop this.
6 months? Yes.
Like with full time.
Yes, full time, absolutely. You need just to include that it was a journey. So we did different experiments. We didn't start with the current idea of the product that is live. It's a journey. So if you include also that, probably yes, 1 year. 1 year is reasonable. Yes.
It's great that you're speaking about this because there's maybe some of the listeners here that are developers, and I actually know some friends that also sold their product even though it was not making money. So it's important also to say that there is this journey as well. Like, you can build a product and just sell it without having any users, which sometimes is actually much easier. You just have to do the things you like, which is building a product. And then you just have to sell to one person instead of selling to a million users. You just have to sell to one company and make good amount of money from this, right? Like, this is almost a year's salary if you split by you two. So it's great.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's one of the many possibilities out there.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a bit, let's say, risky. I would not start a project thinking about probably I would sell only the code, but it's something possible. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Tell me, like, when you actually signed the deal and got the money, Like, did you go party like crazy? Did you celebrate? Like, how did you feel?
No, I'm not one of those person really. I was really happy about that, of course, but
How
I'm
does it
also
feel? Like, do you feel like, okay, I'm the best. I'm on top of the world. Like, tell me about this.
no. But you know what? This is, let's say, a step in the journey that I started, right? So
Right.
I started thinking about something else after that. Okay,
So
so
it gave you some motivation as well. Like,
some
okay, I can do
motivation,
this.
yes, some motivation, and also let's say, okay, also from let's say economical perspective, and I'm a little bit more safe now
Yeah.
for the following months. But I mean, I'm not millionaire, so I need to continue with do the stuff that I was doing before and
Right.
continue with the journey. Also because I'm really enjoying the process per se.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just checking out your co-founder is
Mhm,
now actually working in Klarna. Funny enough,
mhm,
I have a friend that also worked in Klarna.
mhm,
Um, this new idea, HiveOE,
mhm.
automating DMs, Twitter DMs, you decided to do it alone,
Mm,
right?
that's right. That's right. So I had in mind to do this another project with Marco because
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed working with him. But when I started working, I mean, making, let's say, a content creator, so posting content on Twitter, I recognized that there were some possibilities to improve the process, especially on the DM side.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm using, of course, one of those amazing tools to, schedule your content during the week. They
Mm-hmm.
are amazing.
Which one are you using?
Of course, FeedHive
FitHive?
of Simon, yes, and
Ah, okay.
um, and it's really cool. I mean, if you are a content creator, you need a tool like that. There are many in the
Yeah.
market. Just pick one that best fits your needs and
Mm-hmm.
use that. But on the DM side, there's a lot to improve. And I found many popular users on Twitter talking about DMs, how important are DMs, and to connect to the people and make really good connections and probably make friends also, or
Mm-hmm.
find like-minded people like you. And so I started thinking, okay, this is a domain where I could probably build something for myself
Yeah.
first. So I started building these features for myself and experimenting with them. And Marco is super good, but he doesn't know anything about Twitter. He's not a
Mm.
Twitter user. So considering my experience in software development, I said, okay, let's start really small. I will start by my own and see
Mm-hmm.
how it goes. And so I didn't involve Marco in this project directly.
Okay.
I asked for feedback from him because they are very valuable.
Yeah.
But for the moment, I'm going really, really lean in the process. Also because now I'm also doing content on Twitter, and so it takes some time. And so I just need to find the time to work on IVE when I have 1 hour free.
Right.
So working into it's a
Yeah.
little bit more
Yeah,
difficult,
because
let's say.
this is a side project for you, right? Like you
Mm.
have a full-time job plus, of course, your life. So finding time for a side project is always it's always hard. You said that you were using Twitter. You realized that there was the need for automating DMs, but what was the actual need? Like, what is the problem that you are actually solving? What is the use case for a user?
Basically, the use case is to being able to connect and meet people, basically on Twitter, using Twitter.
Yeah, but
Because
for that, I can just send them a message directly, right? Like, why do I need to automate that?
you could do it, but you don't think about doing it, or you don't have time to do it.
Okay.
That's the point. Also, because when you talk to the void, okay, I mean, publicly, you post on Twitter on the timeline, people can react, okay, and
Right.
maybe you start a conversation.
Right.
But actually, I needed a way to better know also my audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first feature that came in my mind was to automate a welcome message
Right.
for all of my new followers. And I can tell you that after a couple of weeks experimenting using this feature for myself, I mean, the results were extremely good because a lot of people replied to that welcome message. Even if the feeling is not super, personal,
Right.
they replied anyway.
The trick is to make it a little bit personal or general enough that people think, okay, maybe he just actually wrote this to me.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of people is really surprised that you are writing to them directly through DM. Okay.
Yeah.
And when they reply, of course, I jump in, I reply, I try to understand their needs. So what they need. Usually they are learning programming, for instance, learning JavaScript or something like that. And so I can give some help. So guide them through, a learning path. So I prepare some content that I can propose to them and give them value. So again, here, the key concept, in my opinion, like providing value for free on Twitter publicly is the same on DMs. So providing value to people privately at this point, but providing value and help. And this is, in my opinion, really, really the key.
Yeah, and I have to say that I've been using. That's the reason why I started using Ivoe, because of the welcome message. It works perfectly, and a lot of people answer me back, and it allows me to connect with them, which is great because sometimes you get followers and you don't notice that you are getting followers, so you cannot always engage with them. And the fact that I can just automatically send them a message is amazing. And so you built this first feature. How did you share this with the world? The first MVP. How did you launch it?
The first MVP was just a really raw landing page with no text almost, just a few text and something that was reproducing the DMs chat. So kind of messages from two users. And I started building the different features incrementally over time. So I started.
What is the tech stack, by the way?
The tech stack is, yes, it's React, but every time I start a new project, I want to experiment with new technologies. So at least if the project is not, the product is not successful, at least I have learned something, right? Okay, technically at least. So I'm using Next.js.
Oh, cool.
For the server-side rendering, and React, of course, and Chakra UI, a components library, really cool. I'm using Prisma, which is an ORM to an interface to the database.
So you built a very simple landing page, and you shared it, I guess, with your Twitter followership?
I'm following the building in public approach. So when I build something new, I post on, I make a tweet on Twitter, writing something like I did this, or asking for opinions. So this is the approach I'm using at the moment. So I mean, there is no marketing, no campaigns, just this. And
how many people sign up when you first launched it?
I didn't have a real launch, let's say. I just started talking about Ivoe. Let's see what happens. I don't have a big audience, so I didn't expect a lot of users. And in fact, I don't have a lot of users right now. I think I have 15 users.
15 users?
15, 20, no more. So absolutely not a lot of users.
How does that make you feel? Like the fact that you build this and you only have 15 users?
I'm good, actually. I'm good at the moment because I'm just at the beginning. So for me, it's fun.
When did you actually start speaking about Ivoe or do the unofficial launch?
Probably around November or December.
Okay. So quite new.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also because I want to have that phase of validating the idea and the problem I'm trying to solve.
Right.
If there is a real need or not, and so on. So for me, it's not a problem if there is not a good feedback or not a lot of users. it's important to collect feedback. At the moment, the feedback are good, actually.
So what are people saying about it, your users?
It depends. There are a couple of users really happy about the product,
Like me.
you, like you, yes, and Antonio Thomas, another
Yeah.
person. He's
I
on
can
the
see here
on the
in your
landing
landing
page.
page, yeah, you have the testimonials and it's Antonio and me.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And so this gives me a motivation to continue on the product, right? Because you can always think, okay, maybe I'm not communicating correctly. How have we solving the problem? Or I didn't identify correctly the problem, so I'm not able to communicate it correctly. So the last activity I did is to rebuild the landing page. So that one that is live is completely new. It has kind of 1 week of life,
Okay.
the new landing page. And so I'm iterating on the copy to try to
So
communicate
just
it correctly.
for the listeners to kind of visualize, when you open it, you have the logo on top, says Ivory, and then it says unlock the full power of direct messages on Twitter. Then it says discover your audience needs, convert followers to supporters. I would immediately say here, if you allow me to give you a quick feedback, that you are not mentioning anything about automatic or automating the direct messages, which is the crucial things. That this is the keyword that you're looking for, because people, even if I search on Google, I'll be like automate my Twitter DMs. I really think that this should be literally there, like automate your Twitter DM should be the first thing for, because that's what people are looking for, I would say. Sorry for the unasked feedback.
Not incredibly valuable. So thanks for the feedback. Probably is something I need to add. Absolutely. It's not the first time I think that I received this feedback. So I need to try
because
that.
it's such a huge need, and it's interesting because I was chatting about this, and we spoke about this need in the WB space, in the virtual co-working space. That by the way, Luca is also a member now, and we can do a quick chat about it in the end. But a lot of people said like they had the same need. They were a bit afraid that Twitter could ban them or could block their account for automating DMs. Can you share a few words about this? Like, is this a possibility?
Of course, probably it's a possibility. We need to go deeply into the terms and conditions of Twitter, but I can say that I'm using this feature now. I've been using it for 4 months. Yes, and nothing happened. Also because my account is not so big, so probably it's not a problem at all. But Twitter API allows to send direct messages. So in general, I don't see any kind of problem to do this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So far, exactly the same for me. It's been working fine, and I didn't get blocked, fortunately. So you are still not making money out of this, or well, someone actually told you that they wanted to pay you, which is amazing. Why didn't you start asking for money from day one?
Absolutely great question. Probably it's a mistake I made. I'm trying to recover as soon as possible. So now I'm working on adding a subscription, a trial period, or a free plan, actually, a free plan plus a trial period where you can use Ivory Unlimited. And so probably the next thing that will come live will be this one. Yes.
And are you planning to do like a proper launch, product hunt, Twitter, Reddit, you name it?
Absolutely, this is something that I will try to do absolutely in the future. I just want to let's say orchestrate it correctly. What I mean is that when you launch on Product Hunt, it's not only the launch that you need to prepare on that platform, but probably you can leverage it even more by posting the right content on Twitter and create a kind of expectation
Right.
anticipating the event just to prepare your audience, and probably, I don't know, leverage other platforms like indie hackers. So create a dedicated post where you provide value somehow, and then you link also the launch on Product Hunt and this kind of stuff. So I just need to think about it, how to correctly orchestrate that event.
What are your biggest frustrations in building Hivoe so far?
At the moment, I have something technical. So, I mean, I need to improve really. I don't know if you have this kind of feeling, Thiago, while using Hivoe, but I found it really slow when you change the page. Yes, okay, you have it. This is something I really need to change. I don't know why, but it's not performing really well. It probably is due to something I need to tweak in Next.js or refactor a bit the way it's implemented. But it's so slow that it's it's not enough for me. It's not the speed and the quality I would like to have on my product.
Well, to be honest, it's because you have two features, right? You have one feature which is the welcome message, and then another feature that allows you to actually create groups, which I find super useful. In the beginning, I didn't fully understand, but then you kind of explained it to me, and I was like, okay, this is actually good. So you can actually create groups of people and then send DMs to all of these groups, And there, when I'm using this, it's a bit slow, especially to find the users. But since it's an automatic thing, for the welcome message, I just set up the welcome message and I don't even open Hivoe. I just see the welcome message working. And in that sense, it's amazing. And just for this feature, I would definitely pay for. Not sure how much I would pay, but I think you could already be making money. And I think you should already be making money from that feature, because I can see a lot of people using it. I'm super excited about it. I think it's a great product. I like how chilled you are. Are you planning on or does it cross your mind to quit your job to focus full time on Hivoe or any bootstrapped project you want to build?
So, as I said before, I'm really, let's say, pragmatic person. And I need also, I'm not that young right now, let's say. So I need to correctly evaluate the risks, right, of doing something like that. Of course, this is something I'm looking for. So I would like to do that and have the possibility to do this kind of switch. But at the moment, I think that it's more sustainable to have my full-time job and try to make different experiments and side projects and even probably in the future info products, so that I could have in the future different, source of incomes, streams of incomes. Okay, so to diversify a bit.
And don't you feel that you're like working too much, because both doing your full-time job and then Hivoe, do you feel that you're always in front of your computer, or can you also get some time for yourself?
Well, of course, you spend a lot of time in front of the computer, but working on Etherspace, I think I found a way to balance everything. I don't know how, but I'm able to balance everything, especially when you start waking up during the morning, not so early. I'm not able to wake up at 6. I need to tell you, I tried. It's impossible for me, but at least to leverage every day 1 hour in the morning before starting working for your full-time job.
Wow.
But every day, this is amazing. I mean, you are able to constantly build something every day, even a small amount of things, but every day you think about it.
Good. Good tip.
It's a big amount of time.
You need to have the discipline to do that. So
absolutely, discipline, and to be really motivated.
Luca, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your background, about your entrepreneurial career. And before we finish this, I just wanted to, since I have you here, the first person that I'm interviewing that is actually a member of the community of the WBE space. Basically, we have virtual co-working space where people can actually join us and work together with other entrepreneurs from all over the world. Luca just joined, so it's a perfect opportunity to get a live feedback. And we didn't plan this, so it can be really, really bad. But feel free to be completely honest. You have been there since, I guess, yesterday or 2 days ago. What do you think of the co-working space so far?
I mean, the feeling I have is very, very positive. As you mentioned, it's just a few days that I joined the community. It's the first time actually that I joined a community like this and paying for joining the community. So
Why
again,
did you decide to join?
well, actually, I was shocked when I knew that the fee was just €4 per month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was a bit skeptical at the beginning because I was thinking probably I don't have time to participate in the community and to, provide value and interact with people. But then I started thinking, probably I need to start exchanging ideas with other people like-minded, so with the same mentality as mine, so with other wannabe entrepreneurs. So for me, it's the perfect fit, this community right now, correct?
Right.
And then I knew about the, let's say, low fee, and I said, oh, come on, I need to join. I have no excuses, right?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad to have you on board.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you so much again for your time. I will link Luca's profile and Hivoe on the show notes of this episode so that everyone can go there, check it out, and yeah, definitely try out Hivoe. As I said, like, I'm a happy user, and I even have a testimonial in the landing page. So it's really for real. And I wish you all the best, Luca. I really hope to see you succeed.
Thank you very much, Thiago. Thanks a lot for having me here. It was a great pleasure.
And now for the listeners, this was another interview. I hope you had a lot of fun. There's a lot of other interviews for you to check out. Just go to wannabe-entrepreneur.com. And if you want to join Luca and me in the virtual co-working space, the link will also be in the description. And yeah, it costs €4 or $4.6 per month. And you can meet a lot of cool, great entrepreneurs, all of us working in our side gigs or full-time in our bootstrapping project. So I'm looking forward to see you there. This was another Wannabe Entrepreneur. See you next time.